What lies behind the stories of Durga and Kali? More than just legends, these tales hold deep truths about the power of the mind, inner transformation, and the cosmic game of existence. Every battle against demons carries a profound lesson on facing fears, breaking illusions, and awakening dormant strength. But are we truly understanding the wisdom behind these teachings? During Navaratri, the divine feminine is honored in its many forms, from Durga, the fearless warrior, to Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance. Each night, a different aspect of the goddess's energy is revered, representing the phases of a seeker's spiritual journey. The statues adorned with flowers and lights aren't just decorations. They serve as portals of devotion, channeling divine energy. They remind us that the real battle isn't just happening in the outer world, but within ourselves against our own fears and limitations. This celebration goes beyond rituals. Each one is an invitation to self-reflection. The destruction of idols at the end of the festival doesn't symbolize loss, but the dissolution of the ego, making space for something greater to emerge. Just like an artist erases a sketch to create a masterpiece, a spiritual seeker must let go of old beliefs to experience the divine. And the most fascinating part, this process of renewal doesn't just happen once a year. It unfolds in every cycle of life. Navaratri is a reminder that the divine feminine isn't some distant concept, it's a living force within every human being. When lamps are lit and mantras are chanted, the goal isn't just to please an external deity, but to awaken that energy within. Imagine treating every challenge in life like a battle night in Navaratri, where instead of fearing the darkness, you learn to dance with it. And what if this battle isn't just about defeating evil, but about becoming the best version of yourself? The battle depicted in the Devi Mahatmyam isn't just a war against external forces, it's a reflection of the internal struggle we all face. Durga doesn't wield her weapons against mythical demons alone. She fights against fears, doubts, and illusions that cloud the mind's clarity. Every strike she lands represents a moment of triumph, a conscious decision to rise above the ego and attachment. The real enemy isn't out there, it's within, hiding in the layers of the mind that resist change. This story echoes in our own lives. How many times have you fought against habits you knew you needed to break? Just like Mahishasura shapeshifts to avoid defeat, the mind finds excuses and distractions to resist growth. But Durga doesn't retreat, she adapts, finding new ways to fight, just like someone who finally decides to face their challenges head-on. Every battle won within yourself clears the path to greater clarity and inner strength. This symbolism isn't limited to Hindu epics, it's woven into every human experience. The warrior who conquers their own fears is the one who attains true freedom. Imagine seeing your life as a battlefield where every challenge isn't an obstacle, but an opportunity to grow stronger. What if, instead of avoiding the fight, you faced it like Durga with a smile, knowing that victory is already guaranteed for those who persist? The goddess isn't just a warrior. She is the very cycle of existence. She creates, nurtures, and destroys not as an act of cruelty, but as a necessary process for life's renewal. Everything in the universe follows this rhythm. A star is born, shines for millions of years, and eventually collapses to give birth to new systems. Just like nature, our own lives are marked by cycles of growth, loss, and rebirth. Resisting this natural flow only leads to suffering. How often do we cling to things that no longer serve us? Relationships, jobs, old habits, everything has its time to bloom and its time to be let go. The energy of the goddess teaches us that destruction isn't the end, but a bridge to something new. Just like a tree shedding its leaves in the fall to be reborn in the spring, there are moments when we must release the old to allow space for the new. The problem is, fear often holds us back from letting go. But what if, instead of fearing change, we embraced it as a natural part of life? When something falls apart, it doesn't mean failure, it's a call for a new beginning. Imagine applying this principle to your own path, seeing challenges not as painful endings, but as fertile ground for something better to grow. What if this dance between creation and destruction was the key to living a lighter, more fluid life? Nothing in the universe moves without energy. Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma represent essential cosmic principles, but without Shakti, they remain motionless. Shakti isn't just a force, it's the essence of action, the spark that turns potential into reality. Imagine a luxury car without fuel or a river without a current. That's what existence would be without Shakti. She doesn't just activate the divine. She permeates every human being, the hidden source behind all creativity, passion, and transformation. In daily life, this energy reveals itself in an artist's determination to create, in an entrepreneur's drive to build something new, or in the resilience of someone who decides to change their life. When Shakti's energy is blocked, everything feels heavy and directionless. But when we tap into this force, we find clarity, courage, and excitement. Practices like meditation, chanting mantras, and connecting with nature help awaken this energy. Sometimes all it takes is pausing for a moment, taking a deep breath, and feeling life pulsing through every cell. Shakti isn't something distant or mythical. It's the spark that drives every action. If everything that exists depends on this energy, then the real question is, how are you using yours? Are you letting this force push you in the right direction, or are you wasting its power on distractions? The real key isn't about searching for more energy, but learning how to channel it with purpose. What if, instead of feeling lost, you started tapping into the force that's already within you? Durga isn't just any warrior. She is the fusion of all divine forces, created to face an enemy that no other god could defeat. Mahishasura wasn't just any demon, he was a shapeshifter, always finding new ways to survive. This battle isn't just a myth. It's a metaphor for life's challenges. Problems rarely show up in just one form. They change, they test our patience, and they force us to adapt. The real question isn't just about winning, but about being ready to evolve constantly. Durga's energy teaches us that every difficulty carries a call to awaken a new aspect of our inner power. Just like she received weapons from the gods for every type of threat, we also need to develop different internal tools: patience for one challenge, courage for another, resilience to keep moving forward. Think of someone facing a huge loss or failure. If they tap into their inner strength, turn their pain into learning, and move on, then, like Durga, they become unstoppable. What's most incredible is that Durga never backs down. Her presence in battle isn't just about victory, it's a reminder that true strength comes from within. This energy is available to everyone, but few know how to access it. What would happen if, instead of feeling like a victim of your challenges, you started seeing them as invitations to activate new powers inside you? When the battle against Raktabija seemed impossible to win, something extraordinary happened. Kali emerged from Durga's forehead, the embodiment of raw fury, the untamed force of the universe at its most intense. Raktabija had a unique power. Every drop of his blood that hit the ground created a new demon. This represents how unresolved problems tend to multiply when they aren't dealt with at the root. It's not enough to attack the symptoms, you have to go straight to the cause. Kali did exactly that, drinking the blood before it could hit the ground, breaking the cycle. This moment carries a powerful lesson. Some situations in life call for gentleness, but others demand relentless action. Think of someone trying to break a destructive habit, but always falling back into the same excuses. Some internal battles can only be won when we stop negotiating with our own weaknesses and take decisive action. Kali teaches us that there is a time to nurture and a time to cut away whatever is holding us back without hesitation. Kali's presence in mythology and in everyday life reminds us that sometimes we have to take full control and cut away whatever is holding us back from growth. This power exists within each of us, waiting to be awakened. But how often do people postpone important decisions allowing their own demons to multiply. What if, instead of avoiding challenges, you activated that fierce Kali energy and faced them head-on? The warrior goddess isn't exclusive to Hinduism. She appears in many traditions around the world. In Greek mythology, Athena wasn't just the goddess of wisdom. She was also the goddess of military strategy, leading battles with intelligence and precision. In Egypt, Sekhmet was the fierce lioness of the sun, destroying enemies with her fiery rage, yet she also had the power to heal. These feminine archetypes show that strength and compassion aren't opposites, they are two sides of the same essence. What these goddesses teach us is that true power isn't just about brute force, but about knowing when to fight and when to step back. Think about modern life. A single mother, an entrepreneur starting from scratch, someone battling illness. They all need to tap into that warrior energy to move forward. Real strength isn't just about attacking. It's about knowing when to take determined action and when to channel that energy into creating something greater. The warrior goddess embodies that balance. This connection across cultures shows that feminine energy has always been seen as wild and transformative. Whether in mythology or reality, women carry this power, even when society tries to suppress it. What if, instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, you view them as invitations to awaken that dormant strength? After all, what would happen if more people accessed this energy and took control of their own lives? In Hinduism, Ardhanarishvara represents the perfect fusion of Shiva and Shakti, the balance of masculine and feminine. This image isn't just about the union of two forces. It reveals the deeper truth that both exist within every human being. The mistake is thinking that strength and logic belong to the masculine, while sensitivity and intuition are exclusive to the feminine. In reality, those who master both aspects become whole, understanding when to act with firmness and when to flow with ease. We see this principle at work in everyday life. A great leader isn't just authoritative. They know how to listen and adapt. An artist doesn't create only with emotion, but also with technique. Balancing reason and intuition, strength and gentleness, action and contemplation, that's the key to a more harmonious life. Many people feel out of sync because they cling to only one of these aspects, neglecting the other. True balance emerges when both energies are fully integrated. This concept isn't abstract, it's something you can apply to every decision. When we face challenges, the mind often tells us to fight, while the heart urges patience. The wise path isn't choosing one over the other, but listening to both and acting with clarity. If Shiva without Shakti is powerless, and Shakti without Shiva is chaotic, what would happen if you learned to harmonize these forces within yourself? When Durga slays demons, she doesn't condemn them, she liberates them. In Hinduism, death at the hands of the goddess isn't punishment, but redemption, a way to break the cycle of karma and be reborn at a higher state. This teaches us that not all destruction is negative. Sometimes it's the only way to create real transformation. How often do we hold on to things that should have already been dissolved? Fears, limiting beliefs, toxic relationships, all of these can be unnecessary burdens. In daily life, this lesson is clear. Letting go is an act of power. Just like a sculptor must remove parts of the stone to reveal the masterpiece, personal growth requires us to eliminate whatever is holding us back. Life presents us with challenges that seem harsh, but in reality, they are opportunities for liberation. The problem is, we often resist the process, clinging to things that no longer serve us. The fear of emptiness blinds us from seeing the space for something new. The real question is, what within you needs to be destroyed so a new version of yourself can emerge? If the demons in the story find redemption through defeat, what aspects of your life need transformation? True liberation isn't about avoiding battles, it's about facing them with courage, knowing that in the end, Every loss can be the beginning of something greater. When Shamba proposes marriage to Durga, he fails to understand who she really is. He believes he can possess her, as if the goddess's power is something that can be tamed. But Durga isn't a queen waiting for a king. She is self-sufficient, complete within herself. Her refusal isn't just an act of defiance. It's a declaration that her strength doesn't depend on anyone else. This moment symbolizes the independence of the feminine, something that society has often tried to suppress. This idea isn't just a mythological lesson, it applies to real life. How many people believe they need someone else to feel complete? The belief that happiness comes from the outside a relationship, status, or external validation is one of humanity's greatest illusions. Durga teaches us that true power comes from within. This doesn't mean rejecting connection, but understanding that relationships are only healthy when they don't come from a place of lack. Love isn't about losing yourself in another, it's about expanding together. Durga's lesson goes beyond marriage. She reminds us that no one can claim your energy if you truly know who you are. What would happen if more people stopped seeking external approval and started recognizing their own strength? Real power isn't about being desired, it's about knowing you are already enough. Are you waiting for something outside of you to validate your worth? Or have you realized that your strength comes from within? In Hindu tradition, the universe isn't just a series of random events, it is Lila, the divine play of existence. The goddess isn't just a warrior battling demons. She is the creator of this game, dancing between destruction and creation with full awareness that it's all part of something greater. This concept reminds us that life isn't a burden to carry, it's an experience to be lived. If everything is a cosmic game, why do we take our struggles so seriously? This perspective can completely shift how we face challenges. So often, we feel crushed by our problems, as if we're victims of a cruel fate. But what if, instead of fighting against life, we learn to play with it? Great spiritual teachers say that suffering comes from resistance, while freedom comes from accepting the flow of existence. This doesn't mean passivity, it means acting with ease, without the constant weight of worry. The divine play also reminds us that everyone has a role to play, but no one is truly separate from the whole. If the goddess is both warrior and creator, aren't we also both the players and the authors of our own stories? Imagine how your life would change if, instead of feeling stuck in your circumstances, you started seeing every moment as part of a cosmic dance. What if, instead of stressing over the outcome, you simply flowed with the game? Worship during Navaratri goes far beyond honoring statues. It is a portal to connecting with the divine, both externally and internally. The idols, dressed in vibrant colors and adorned with flowers, aren't just physical representations of the goddess. They are reminders that this same energy lives within each of us. The real purpose of rituals isn't to please a distant deity, but to awaken this dormant force inside us. After all, what's the point of offering flowers to a goddess while carrying thorns in your heart? Many people perform spiritual practices without understanding their deeper meaning. Lighting a candle, chanting mantras, or fasting aren't just empty gestures. They are tools to align the mind and spirit. When someone fully surrenders to a ritual, they create a state of presence where the ego dissolves and a greater sense of clarity emerges. That's why people who meditate or engage in deep prayer often feel peace, even in the midst of chaos. The power isn't in the action itself, it's in the intention behind it. If idols are just symbols, then what is really being worshipped? The energy of the goddess isn't confined to temples or festivals. It reveals itself in every decision, in every moment of courage, in every act of compassion. What if, instead of searching for the divine only outside, people started recognizing it within themselves? The real ritual doesn't happen at an altar, it happens in the way we live our lives. The goddess isn't just in temples or ancient stories, she lives within each of us, waiting to be awakened. True power doesn't come from outside, It comes from the courage to face your own demons and recognize the strength that already exists within you. Now, the real question is, are you ready to access this energy and transform your life?